All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a new week and a new moment to bring back the Reality Kenya. Of course, as usual, we are live from the Learned Corner with our usual guest, the Deputy Party Leader of Safina Party, Honorable Wakili, Willis Otieno, Piki Ponki. How have you been?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Looking fresh, I'm fine?
Yes.
A lot has happened since the last time we were at the Learned Corner.
Yes.
And right now we are seeing the East African community. Tanzania versus Kenya is going on. We saw President launching the affordable housing in Mukuru yesterday, and so many activities that have taken place.
You know, the first thing we must say is that Tanzania must determine if it believes in the East African community, because the treaty establishing the East African community is very clear, on the free movement of goods and people.
Yes.
And when a Kenyan visits Tanzania, the treaty allows them to be present in Tanzania.
Yeah.
Unless if they do and commit any offense, if we're in that country, then you apply the domestic laws of that country. But this emerging trend of the Tanzanian government arbitrarily deporting Kenyans and denying them entry into that country, that goes contrary to the provisions of the treaty. There are so many Tanzanians in Kenya who are enjoying the provisions of that treaty here in Kenya. And even goods that come from Tanzania are accessing this Kenyan market, courtesy of the treaty. So Tanzania also needs to adhere to the provisions of the treaty and allow Kenyans to freely enter into the country as part of what the community requires of partner states to allow. And then at that point, let people adhere to the domestic laws when it comes to issues of entry and exit into a country. So that one we must call out the Tanzania government. They have missed the mark. And someone's political views, whether you like them or not, is not the basis for you to allow entry. The treaty does not put limitations on how members of the member states can enjoy their rights under the treaty. And you also saw Kasongo launching 1,000 housing units
in Mukuru. And
they want to make so much noise about it. Those houses, as we said, are built using taxpayers' money. They are built on public land. They are selling them to the center taxpayers at 3,900 per month for 30 years. For the bedsitter. For 30 years. For 30 years. And you pay a deposit of 180 to 28,000.
The 3,900 is per month.
It is paid per month for 30 years. And you also pay a deposit of 128,000 before you start qualified. But the affordable housing is for the rest of everybody's time. Those who live in informal settlements in Nairobi are more than 2 million Nairobians. The 1,000 units is negligible. And stupid ones like there's somewhere units and you go all over town making noise.
The journey has to start somewhere.
They are saying they are going to put 200,000 units in 1 year.
Which is still less.
Now 3 years. So they are 600,000 behind. No. 200,000 in 1 year. So in their 3 years, they should have done 600,000. They've only done 1,000.
599,000
are still pending.
Yes.
So I don't know why they are somewhere. But you know, on the housing issue, we've always held the view that it's not to be the government. This should be a private sector initiative. And when you look at the role of government in denying private sector, why do we have So you cannot attend to the problem of housing by you should address the income question. That's the problem. To address the income, give people an economy that where they can earn decent wages. Then they will naturally, automatically look for those houses, decent houses that can accommodate them. And then also, if you ask, and you've seen,
Yes.
In 3 years they put 1,000.
1,000, yes.
In Omabay they put 600 units to charge it complete. Against a population of almost 600,000 Omabayans. That is nothing. But if you allow the Kenyan people to access credit facilities, access to capital, access to finance, the Kenyan people can put up those houses. And the Kenyan people are everywhere. And they will put it at a low cost, efficiently, and the bulk majority of the people of Kenya who desire those houses will access them. Because today, Kenya government borrows heavily from the domestic market. What that has done, it has crowded out the private sector, you and I, from accessing capital in the domestic market. Why? If government is borrowing at 14-15% interest rate, the individual goes to the bank, he is told his interest rate is 20%, 18-20%. That is right there, non-performing loan, an NPL. And why are they charging you high interest rate? Because they are guaranteed that your government will always come to take bonds from them. And it's deemed to be a more secure creditor than yours as an individual. So the banks have no appetite to give you the money. They prefer to lend it to government. If the government walked out of that domestic market, the banks will be stuck to the money. They need to make some interest out of the money they are holding. And the only way they will do it is through giving loans. So the individual going to the bank will be able to access a loan at even 4%, 5%, 3% interest rate, depending on your credit worthiness. And with that access to capital, many Kenyans will be able to put up housing units that can address the challenges we are facing. And they will even be putting it all over the country, in private land, not in public land that is legally acquired, and not in projects that don't make sense.
And if you look at the prices, do you think they are affordable?
They are not affordable. They are not affordable. The private sector, because it means in 30 years, these people are going to pay 1.4 million.
To buy the bed
sitter. Go to bed sitter units that have been put up even here in Kilimani. When we go to Thika Road of Mirema Drive. Bed sitters are going for around 600,000-700,000 Kenya shillings.
If you are supposed to buy.
If you are buying it right away. And that is by the private sector. That is a private sector who is not building on public land, who is not collecting housing levy. He's still charging you a lesser cost. But this one who is building, is collecting housing levy from you, is building on public land, is charging you 1.4 million. It is a rip-off. So it cannot work. And this system, we must reject it.
Yesterday we saw you in court actually, the party leader, Safina Party, George Wanjakoya, Roots Party, and so many other leaders. And you as a lawyer, you were there when Governor of Trans Nzoia was taking his plea on the charges that are being put on him. And we have seen this issue of, opposition feeling oppressed, those who have contrary opinions to the government are being harassed, being oppressed. And do you think the government is somehow in fear of the rising opposition?
Of course. That the arraignment of Natembeya is just informed by political witch hunt. Because even if you look at the manner in which the EFCC conducted that whole shenanigan, you can see heavy hand of politics behind it. George Natembeya is a renowned governor and public administrator of long standing, that if you issue him the summons, he will appear to court or even to EFCC if so desired. Why deploy such heavy-handed policemen?
Do you think the manner was not?
No, it was just meant to send chills and fear down people's spine. It is just a clampdown by the state. But those tactics have been used before, and they have failed. So this was purely, in my view, the manner in which Governor Natembeya was handled was just a witch hunt. It was meant to break his spirit, scare him in a way, not to speak the issues affecting the Kenyan people. And even if you look at the substance of the charges that he's facing, at the trial it will be very clear that there's nothing here. They make so much noise, but when you look at the charges, We're just saying nonsense.
And we also saw you actually, the party leader, experiencing the same last year around during the Gen Z protests. These witch hunt.
Yes, it happened where they even planted grenades and guns and,
Yes.
and tear gas canisters. And there are even videos showing them planting these things.
Yes.
It's typical. They deploy heavy police. The idea is to intimidate you, to scare you, not to speak. But as a Safina party, we are not shaken. We are used to those things.
Yes.
So when they try to intimidate us, they don't know that we draw energy from those intimidations.
Yeah.
In fact, we get stronger and more convicted when they deploy those kind of tactics on us.
Yes.
And that is the lot of many Kenyans. Kenyans are suffering.
Yeah.
And Kenyans are just demanding for better governance. And they want a society that respects the rule of law, a society that responds to the economic needs, that provides equal opportunity to all Kenyans. Right now, you have many graduates who people are qualified, but they cannot get jobs that are commensurate with their qualifications. And they're coming out in their numbers. The unfortunate bit, as I always say, is that these are young people who are not getting jobs commensurate with their qualifications. We are actually wasting their years. This is their youth. This is their most productive years. If somebody who is cannot be deployed economically in his most productive years, then it's a loss not to just the individual, but even to the nation. Because this person will not be able to provide his best to the country when he is at his optimum best. And then this person, once they retire, they become a social burden. Because they will not have earned when they are productive. And the question even of the social security knowledge becomes a big problem. So that is why Kenyans are agitating and Kenyans are demanding for a society that works for them. A society where their taxes make meaning to them, not meaning to politicians. You saw that member of parliament from Alego saying that State House needs to be renovated. It's an old house, it's looking filthy. I mean, we don't need to...
It has to be facelifted.
The facelifting should not be of the building. The facelifting should be of the occupant. We don't need to facelift the building, we need to facelift the occupant. Because it's the occupant who is superintending our policies that are causing economic pain to the people of Kenya. We have no problem with the building. And we have a problem with the policies that are emanating from the occupant of that building. Policies that are causing pain and policies that are causing suffering to the bulk majority of the people of Kenya. So if we uplifted the occupant, then maybe we will see economic policies that are going to improve the lot of the people of Kenya. Economic policies that are going to give Kenyans an opportunity to realize their full economic potential and to be able to engage productively in the development of this nation. That is what we look for. We need, not uplifting the building. If you don't uplift the building, you deal with the hardware. When the software is still rust, you will not get any success.
And we are actually now seeing politicians hitting the ground from the newly party leaders for DCP, Rigathi Gachagua, to other politicians hitting the ground day and night. And Safina party has not yet started doing that.
No, Safina party is very active.
No, they meet, greet people.
We are very active. We are. No, I told you the sheep moves in slow motion. But when it emerges, you see the aura of a sheep. That is Safina, the ark. The ark is very active. We are having our conversations with our members and prospective members. And we've mapped out the country and where we are going to have candidates contesting. And we will see the strength of the party. There are many people who are going to our offices and view Park Towers. Our website is inundated with many Kenyans trying to ask to be registered as members of the party. So we may not be as loud as the others. Still waters run deep. Still waters
run deep.
That is Safina.
I want to take this moment and talk to the youth generally, because we are now seeing them on our pages and social media platforms who are coming up with defensive ideas every time the opposition feel attacked. And of course, you being part of that, sometimes they may feel intimidated from how the leaders are being harassed and maybe give up in the process.
No, we cannot give up. We cannot give up. When you see a regime resorting to underhand tactics, strong-arm tactics, to try to respond to the pressure they are facing, that is a confirmation that we are doing well. It means that the pressure is working, and the pressure on Kasongo and his evil regime is working, and the Kenyan people should not give up the fight for a better society, fight for a better Kenya. I believe even Governor Natembeya, when I was with him in court, he showed strong resolute. His spirit was not broken, and he is so firm. And those who believe in a better Kenya, we can only get stronger when we hold the line. We should not surrender to the oppressor. The term for the oppressor has come, and it is one term, and he goes. And the term is coming to an end next year, 2026 election date.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And of course, to everybody who has been watching, thank you for always sharing. Thank you for always making sure that the platforms keep growing each and every day. Keep following Willis Otieno on Facebook, Willis Evans Otieno on Facebook, Willis Otieno on TikTok, on X, and on Instagram. So until next time, may God bless you. My name is Simi Kenya.